Very good evening to all and welcome to my class. I hope my voice is audible to all of you, right? My voice is audible, everyone. Please confirm me once so that we can start our today's session, right? Okay, so this is the first class, and in this class, we are going to discuss the plan that what we are actually going to do in next 9 to 10 months, right? How will you proceed? How will you prepare for their competitive exam like for NEET and IIT, right? So we are going to discuss the whole scenario in this session. That is what is the steps that we are going to follow, right? So this class is going to be very, very interesting and very informative as well. Okay, so please try to understand this thing. And if you have find any problem and any difficulty or any that you not understand, you can ask me. I'm there to help you out, right? And we understand that how should we and you all approach to attain this result, right? So my voice is audible. Once again, I'm asking. uh, Chat box is open. You can just write it in the chat box, no issue, right? Okay, so welcome again, and let's see what we are going to do today. So first of all, let me give my quick introduction. So I'm Vivek Tiwari, and I'm going to take your chemistry classes, right? So all of you, chemistry is one of the very, very important and one of the very interesting subject. If you learn the concept behind this, because in your previous class, like in your 10th class as well, you study about I think you study about the fourth chapter. In your 11th class also, we studied around 16 chapters. So you have a good idea about that, which concept and what type of questions that really ask in chemistry, right? So this is going to be very interesting. So I'm going to take the entire chemistry part, right? So chemistry, it means further you can classify chemistry in that is we're going to see in later, that is physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry. So we're going to see each syllabus and each criteria that which chapter is how much weightage then, right? Okay, so let's see. So the first thing that we are going to cover in today class, that is we're discussing about the chemistry, that is J plus NEET syllabus, right? So we are going to see the syllabus, that is what is the syllabus for us, and basically which chapter basically consists of a more marks, and which chapter you have to give your 100%, and you have to understand this chapter is very important for the exam point of view. Okay, so let's see the syllabus for them. Before this, about JEE main exam, let's see some information about this JEE main exam as NEET exam as well, right? So basically in India, many students have a dream to become an engineer, right? So in India, many students having dream to become an engineer and to become a successful engineer. What this word is very important, to become a successful engineer. Not because there is a many type of for this type of student, they are doing engineering from their private colleges as well. Some they are doing from their government colleges as well. So the difference is very right. Difference is very much important. So become a successful engineer. Everyone wants to get admission is what? That is a good engineering institute, right? So how will you achieve this good engineering institute? How will you get the admission? कैसे होगा admission? अच्छे इंस्टीट्यूट में, अच्छे इंजीनियरिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में. So for this there is only one way to get admission, and that is nothing but to crack the exam. और इसी एग्जाम के लिए हम लोग प्रिपेयर कराने वाले हैं तुम सबको, राइट? इसके लिए हम लोग प्रिपेयर कराने वाले हैं पूरे थ्रू आउट द ईयर. दैट इज हाउ विल यू क्रैक जेईई मेन एग्जाम, right? For the JEE student, for those who want to pursue their career in the engineering industry, right? So the admin institute like NITs, IITs, which is to crack the JEE main exam. So only one source is only one way to achieve this, right? If you want to become an IITN, if you want to become an NITN, so what you have to do, you have to crack this exam. So I show this because you must aware about that what is the main exam to crack this, to achieve this, and what we are going to work out throughout this year, right? So throughout this whole year, we are going to focus on this JEE main examination, and for the medical student, we are going to focus on the NEET examination, right? So this is what we have, right? Now, so let's see about the NEET examination as well. So it's very much similar to just like the previous slide, because in this slide we are going to study about the how you achieve the become a successful doctor. To become a successful doctor, everyone wants to get admission in the renowned medical institutes like AIMS or a government medical colleges. So what is the way to crack this? By cracking NEET exam, by scoring good marks. So if you crack the NEET exam with the good marks, with the good rank, then definitely you will get the good government medical colleges or even AIMS, right? So this is how you become doctor. So we are focused only on the two main core, that is JEE Mains as well as NEET. After JEE Mains, we are also going to start classes for the JEE Advanced as well. Right. This year also many students were qualify for the JEE Mains, and also they clear the paper of IIT Advanced. So various students get the admission in the very good colleges like IIT Guwahati and various NITs as well. So you can also crack this exam with the help of the Avanti teachers. They guide you throughout the throughout the entire session, throughout the entire year, to become your successful life ahead, right? Any doubt till you can ask, beta? किसी को कोई भी doubt हो अभी तक, please you can ask. सब कुछ clear है क्या? What is about the NEET exam? What is about the JEE exam? Anyone having any kind of doubt till? Or all clear? Then just give thumbs up. Yes, I'm waiting for your reply, guys. Yeah, all done? Should we move ahead? Yes. Okay. So let's see. So about the JEE eligibility or NEET eligibility, to let quickly see the what are the JEE eligibility criteria, right? What who are eligible for this exam or not, right? So let's see the JEE eligibility criteria. So for the eligibility criteria, it is very much simple that there is a certain eligibility criteria to appear in this examination, right? Candidates should get a minimum of 75% or 65% for the reserve candidate marks on their 10+2 examination, right? In your 12th class, if you want to get this, so you have to get minimum amount of 75% marks of this, right? So anyone who has passed 10+2 exam or will be appearing in 2023-24 can appear in this exam. So this is a very simple eligibility criteria for this JEE and NEET exam. So you have either you have completed your 10+2 12th, or you are pursuing their 10+2, so both are eligible for this exam, right? So now quickly see the syllabus, that is which syllabus that we are going to cover. That is, we are going to see our chemistry syllabus, right? So basically in this session, I classify whole chemistry syllabus into three parts. That is the physical part, inorganic part, and the organic part, right? So many students some students say मुझे organic अच्छा लगता है, someone say मुझे inorganic अच्छा लगता है, someone say मुझे physical अच्छा लगता है. So it depends upon that if someone having a good capacity or habit to solve numerical, then their physical must be strong, right? Some having a good remembering power, then their inorganic chemistry will be improved, right? And some them having an understanding level, then their organic part is also become very good. So all this because chemistry made up of all the three segments, right? That is inorganic, physical, and organic. So we can't leave anyone, because each chapter is very important. Because if you want to attempt these 30 questions, you have to prepare all these chapters, right? So there is no option to escape organic part or inorganic part or a physical part, right? So you have to, if you have problem in physical or inorganic, then you can practice more and more questions, then we'll become good, right? So it's not a way that usko hum chhod dete hain. This is not the solution. The solution is try to make more and more effort in those topics you are facing some problem, right? So let's see the syllabus for this chemistry, right? So if I'm talking about the physical chemistry syllabus first, so in physical chemistry, the first chapter that is, if you are right now you are in 12th class, right? So you already known about this chapter. That is already in your 11th class you studied about this chapter. That is the some basics concept of chemistry and all, right? So I hope you all aware about this chapter. That is in some basic concept of chemistry. We are studying about the mole concept, right? That is the stoichiometric coefficient and the mole concept. So yeah, this is one is very important. So this is the mole concept, right? So mole concept, stoichiometric. So these are the important, topic in this chapter, right? So law of the chemical combination, right? Atomic and molecular masses, mole concept, molar mass, percentage composition, how to find empirical and molecular formula, right? Last year itself, one questions were coming from this topic there, that is composition of carbon, hydrogen are given, and they are asking you have to find out the empirical formula for this, molecular formula for this. So one question come from this topic every year, right? So this one is very important chapter. And the chemical equation and the stoichiometry. The stoichiometry consists of a lots of numerical parts. Like in this we are going to study the limiting reagent, right? So this all are very important thing, right? That is the stoichiometric and chemical equation. So these all are about the some basic concept of chemistry. I guess you already covered this chapter in a good way, right? So any problem in this chapter, Beta? Or you want to share, because this is the, today is just a introduction class, so we can share each other thoughts, right? You can also share with me that in which topic, in which concept you are facing some problem, so that I aware of this. So we can, when you start our 12th class in a couple of days, so we can focusing on more on these things, right? So if you have any problem, I'm just showing the entire syllabus of this JE and NEET. So if you found any problem related to any topic, or any concept, then you can actually ask me, right? There's no issue in this, right? I hope this is clear to you. So this is your first chapter, that is the some basic concept of chemistry, right? Now, the second most important chapter, this is also you studied in your 11th class, that is the states of matter, right? That is the states of matter. So basically what you studied so far in states of matter, that is the liquid state and the gaseous state only, right? Right? This is right now. अभी तक तुम लोगों ने क्या पढ़ा है? सिर्फ only liquid state and the gaseous state. Okay, you study about the various gases law, like like Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac law, right? But in this 12th class, the one more state that which is left in the 11th, that is the solid state we are going to cover, right? So in 12th class, we are going to cover the solid state as well. So before this, in states of matter, we already covered the liquid state and the gaseous state. So in gaseous state, we cover almost 80% of topic were related to gaseous state only, like the gaseous law. If we have a different types of gaseous law, like Boyle's law, Charles' law, Graham law of diffusion, right? And the Dalton law of partial pressure. So this we already cover in our 11th curriculum, right? Now, the next is that is a concept of absolutely scale temperature, like a kinetic theory of gases. This one is very important. Many times questions were coming from this topic only, that is kinetic theory of gases. So this one is going to be very important. So if you study, then it's very good. Otherwise, just revise this topic, right? Once kinetic theory of gases. So many times questions were come. Now, the concept of average, root mean, square, or most probable velocity. What is the ratio of these three? What is the ratio of the RMS to the most probable velocity? Concept of average velocity. Out of these three, which one is more? Arrange the order of their velocity. So these type of questions were generally coming, right? Now, I make one thing very much clear, that is I'm talking about the syllabus of both NEET as well as IIT, right? So I'm talking about the both the syllabus of JEE plus NEET, and also giving example कि कौन-कौन से questions आएंगे. So I'm talking about both NEET as well as JEE, right? Okay. Now, the real gas deviation from the ideal behavior, that is compressibility factor, van der Waals gas equation, liquefaction of gases, critical constants. So these all are very important in terms of liquid state, right? So this one is very important. Now, as. So till a liquid state and gaseous state, we already covered in our 11th class. So what in 12th class? In 12th class, we are going to cover that is the solid state, right? In 12th class, we are going to cover the solid state. In this, we are going to study about the classification of the different types of solid like molecular solid, ionic solid, covalent solid, metallic solid, right? And the different types of solid as well, like amorphous and crystalline solid. Let me tell one good example share with you so that you can understand this in a good way, right? We all know that this is Taj Mahal, right? If I'm talking about Taj Mahal, okay. So this is Taj Mahal and this is chalk, right? Chalk. So if I'm talking about the Taj Mahal or we say chalk, so can anyone tell me what is the formula for the chalk, right? The chalk we use, can anyone tell me the formula of chalk? Anyone? Yeah, that is nothing but CaCO3. That is calcium carbonate, right? That is calcium carbonate. Okay. So calcium carbonate is the formula of the chalk. On the similar way, if I'm talking about the Taj Mahal, their formula is also CaCO3. But can you compare Taj Mahal structure with the chalk? No. Why? Because if we considering the Taj Mahal, their stone is very hard. Their stone is very hard. You know, you can break someone's head with this, right? So it is very hard. But if you're talking about the chalk, it can be easily breaked, right? So both are solid. So what is the main difference between these? One is very hard, another is it is easily broken into two parts. So what is the difference between these two? Yes, the difference is this is the type of solid. So they are differ in the solid property, right? One is amorphous solid, while other is crystalline solid. If I'm talking about the Taj Mahal, that the stone of the Taj Mahal, I'm talking about the stone. So the stone CaC formula remains the same, calcium carbonate. The formula of chalk is also calcium carbonate, and the stone of Taj Mahal is also CaCO3, calcium carbonate. But the stone made up of Taj Mahal are basically known as crystalline solid, right? So वो crystalline solid है. So their particles are regularly arranged, three-dimensionally arranged. They are tightly packed, so they possess a hard structure. Where the calcium carbonate, I'm talking about the chalk, they are the example of the amorphous solid, right? So this is very interesting. So this type of classification, that is amorphous and crystalline solid, you're going to study in the solid state. Now, also we are going to study the Bragg law, unit law, and lattice packing efficiency. That is which type of unit cell having more packing capacity and all. We're going to study the voids, electrical and magnetic properties of the solid as well. So these we are going to study in our 12th class. Clear hai sabko? Right? Anyone having any kind of doubt you can ask till? Yes? Clear? Chalo. Now, this one is very important chapter and good weightage as well, right? So every year the questions coming from this chapter. So this chapter is very important. If I'm talking about the atomic structure for the J point of view as well as the NEET point of view. So questions were directly coming from this topic like quantum theories and quantum mechanical model, right? And the quantum numbers as well. So the basically what topic we are going to study in this chapter. If I'm talking about this, I hope sabne ye pad liya hoga in your 11th class, right? So let's quickly revise this. So in this, we're going to study the Thomson Rutherford model of atomic model and their limitation. What is the electromagnetic radiation? What is the photoelectric effect? How Einstein photoelectric comes into the picture? We know now E is equal to what? E is equal to HV naught plus kinetic energy, right? E is equal to this. So this is known as Einstein photoelectric equation. So many numericals were coming directly from this topic, right? That you have to find the stopping potential, you have to find the threshold frequency or the velocity of the emitted electron or the energy of the photon falls on the metal. So various questions were made up of from this topic only, right? Photoelectric effect. The spectrum of the hydrogen atom, Bohr model of hydrogen atom is again very important, right? Its postulate, derivation for the formula of radius, velocity, energy. So these all were coming regularly, right? Limitation of Bohr model, dual nature of matter and de Broglie relationship, Hinsberg uncertainty principle, right? So, these things were coming regularly, right? And the quantum mechanical model, that is the variation of psi and psi 2 with the r radius, that is for 1s 2s orbital, various quantum numbers, that is principal quantum number, angular quantum number, and magnetic quantum number, and their significance. Okay, shapes of the sp and d orbital, electron spin and spin quantum number, rules for filling the electron, that is how we can follow a bow principle for writing the electronic configuration, Pauli exclusion principle, Hund's rule, electronic configuration. So these all we are going to study in the atomic structure. I hope this is clear to you. Everyone, सबको समझ आया? Anyone having any kind of doubt? No? Yes? If anyone having any kind of doubt, you can ask beta. Right? Okay. Good. So let's see the next chapter. That what we're going to see. That is a chemical bonding. So you all aware about this, how important this chapter is, chemical bonding. If we're talking about the entire chemistry now, this will play a very, very important role. If you want to understand the concept behind the inorganic chemistry, you must aware about the chemical bonding. If you want to understand the concept of organic chemistry, you must aware about this chemical bonding. Even this chemical bonding play an important role in physical chemistry as well sometimes, right? So this is one of the heart of the chemistry. This is a very, very important chapter. If I'm talking about the most important chapters of class 11th now, then definitely chemical bonding is one of them, right? Because if you know the concept of chemical bonding and molecular structure, basically in whole chemistry, what we study, we generally study about the stability of the element, right? Which element is more stable, how to attain stability, what to do to attain stability. Someone loses electron, someone gain electron. What is the criteria for losing of electron? Does everyone lose electron equally? Does anyone having criteria showing criteria same? क्या सभी दो इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करते हैं? क्या सभी एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को गेन कर सकते हैं? So all these questions have, all this question having one answer, that is this chemical bond, right? So if you understand this chapter, chemical bonding, then you get the entire, very, very, very good amount of knowledge about the chemistry, right? So this is, I recommend, mostly I recommend 110% for this chapter. So this chapter is very important. I hope you already done this chapter, but even you just revise this chapter once and once again, because this one is playing very, very important role, chemical bonding and the molecular structure. So what we already studied in this chapter, and if you're revising what we're going to study, that is the Lewis approach, that is the Lewis dot structure, ionic bonding, that is the formation of ionic bonding, what are the factors that the formation of ionic bonding affect, and lattice enthalpy, their hydration enthalpy, right? And Vesper theory play a very important role to identify the geometry and the shape of the molecule when they having a lone pair of electron, right? Fazan rule, dipole moment, quantum mechanical approach to covalent bond like VVT theory, right? MOT theory again play a very, very important role. That is what is linear combination of atomic orbitals, right? Sigma bonding, pi bonding. So these we have hydrogen bonding, bond length, bond parameter, all bond length, bond energy, and all this. So this all we are going to study in this chapter. That is the chemical bonding and the molecular structure. So this is the fourth chapter of this physical chemistry, right? So this is already you cover in your 11th class. Now, so far I'm talking about the fourth chapter. This is the fifth one, and this is also you already covered in your 11th class as well. that is the chemical thermodynamics. So basically, it is better to say always a chemical thermodynamics instead of thermodynamics, because thermodynamics you study in both classes, right? That is in class uh, uh, that is in not class, that is in physics as well as in chemistry, right? So you're going to study thermodynamics in each subject, physics and in chemistry. So basically in chemistry the name is written as chemical thermodynamics, and this is absolutely correct, right? Because in chemistry we are going to deal with the only chemical part of the thermodynamics, right? Chemical part of the thermodynamics means in this we are going to study about the, we see the chemical behavior of or reactivity, or in terms of enthalpy we are measuring the energy in the terms of enthalpy, internal energy. We are focusing on the spontaneity of the reaction, whether the reaction will take place or not, what are the criteria for the reaction to be spontaneous and all, right? So in this we are not dealing about the more on the work related things, like in physics. So in physics, basically study about the Carnot engine, heat engine, right? Heat pump, refrigerator. So there's a very big difference between these two thermodynamics that we are going to study in the chemistry and in physics, right? So basically in chemistry, we are going to study only the chemical thermodynamic parts, right? That is the fundamental of thermodynamics, their definition, system and surrounding, extensive and intensive properties, state function, type of processes, right? First law of thermodynamics, concept of work, heat, internal energy, how internal energy comes into the picture, what is the direction of heat and work, okay? And the most important, every time you get one single question from this, that is from Hess law, right? From Hess law, you get definitely you get one question, right? What they ask in Hess law, what is Hess law actually? Anyone remember this? What is Hess law? Anyone? Anyone want to say anything about the Hess law? Yeah. Anything about Hess law? Okay. So basically, Hess law, what Hess law state that is a constant heat summation. Whether the reaction will take place in a one step or in a multiple step, the value of enthalpy remains same, right? The value of delta H remain same. So Hess law, we get one question definitely from this topic. Now, the next is enthalpy of bond dissociation, combustion, formation, atomization, sublimation, phase transition, hydration, ionization, and solution. So this is we're going to study the enthalpy. And now the most important thing is the second law of thermodynamics. I observing last 4 to 5 years paper. Basically, if I'm talking about the NEET students, so in NEET, directly questions were coming from the second law of thermodynamics, that is spontaneity, gives spontaneity criteria. Just in this equation, that is, we all know that delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. So in last 2 to 3 years, I observed that many questions are coming from this topic only in NEET paper, right? In NEET paper, in JEE also come question from this topic, but especially if I'm talking about the NEET, then many questions were coming from this chapter alone. That is delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. We all know that this delta G is a spontaneity criteria. If the delta G is negative, then the reaction is spontaneous. If the delta G is positive, then the reaction is non-spontaneous. And now if the delta G is zero, then the reaction is a equilibrium. So questions were coming, and these two criteria, that is enthalpy and entropy, these two things define the spontaneity of the reaction, whether the reaction will be takes place or not. Right. So this is all about the second law of thermodynamics, is spontaneity and gives free energy. Right. Okay. So till we are covering in the physical chemistry around how many chapter beta? That is chapter 5. Five chapters we already cover, right? So 5 chapters we already cover in our 11th class. So if I'm talking about the physical part, then physical part out of 5 chapter, just one small part of solid state that we are going to cover in 12. Remaining all 5 chapters we already cover in the 11th class, right? Now what chapter that we are going to study in 12, because you are totally unaware about this, right now you are in just in 12th class. So I hope you already studied this chapter solution, because your classes are already started, right? So you're already having good knowledge and good idea about this chapter solution. So in our first class, we are going to start in this solution as well. In a couple of days, we are going to start with this chapter only, that is solution and the colligative properties. So as so far, if you study this chapter, you found it is very, very important, and I say it is a very easy chapter if you understand this thing, because in solution many things were directly taken from class 11, right? If you know or aware about the concentration term like molarity, normality, mole fraction, mass percentage, then this they will definitely help in this chapter, right? Because many concept of the concentration terms are used in this entire chapter, right? So this is the different different method for expressing of concentration of the solution, like molarity, mole fraction, percentage by volume or by mass, the vapor pressure of the solution, and the Raoult's law. So this thing we are going to study, right? We are going to study about the two type of solution we have, that is the ideal solution and the non-ideal solution. So ideal solution are the which follow some set of rules, right? So we have to develop some set of rule according to the Raoult's law. So if the liquid follow this rule, then they are said to be ideal gas, ideal liquid, right? Ideal solution. If they are not follow, then they are said to be non-ideal solution, right? So this thing we are going to study. One very, very important thing that we are going to study in this chapter is the colligative property. Yeah, this one is very important, right? If I'm talking about this entire chapter, this part, that is colligative property, this one is going to be very, very much important, because numericals come directly from this topic only, right? Numericals were coming directly from this topic only, that is the colligative property. What is colligative property? Can anyone define what is colligative property? Yeah, can anyone? What is colligative properties? Because I know this chapter is already completed in your school, right? Because this is the first chapter we have. So this chapter is already completed in your school. So everyone must aware about this term, colligative properties, right? Anyone want to share the definition? No? Right. All right. So basically, what is colligative properties? So colligative properties are nothing but the property which depend only on the number of solute, right? So the property which depend only on the number of solute are said to be colligative property, right? So just remember this thing. The property which depend upon the number of solute is known as colligative property. Okay, right. Now, that is in colligative properties, we are going to study about the relative lowering of vapor pressure, depression of the freezing point, elevation of the boiling point, and osmotic pressure, right? Determination of the molecular mass using colligative properties, abnormal value of mass, went off factor, and its significance. So these all we are going to study in this chapter, right? That is in colligative properties, right? Okay. Now, okay, now the next and the most important chapter in physical chemistry is that equilibrium, right? This is the equilibrium. So basically the meaning of equilibrium, the concept of dynamic equilibrium, right? Basically this equilibrium is classified into the two types, that is the chemical equilibrium and the ionic equilibrium, right? So in first part, we are already covered the chemical equilibrium and already cover ionic equilibrium as well in your 11th class itself, right? So you're already done with this in chemical equilibrium. We have very important terms like Kp, Kc, Kx, and their relation with each other. How Kp and Kc are related to temperature. What is the effect of temperature on Kx? What is the Le-Chatelier principle? Once the equilibrium is stabilized, how will you disturb this equilibrium? So for do this, we study about the Le-Chatelier principle, right? So we already know this thing. In ionic equilibrium, basically what we covered, that is a weak and strong electrolyte, ionization of electrolyte, various concept of acid and base, like Arrhenius concept, Bronsted-Lowry concept, and Lewis concept, and their ionization, acid-base equilibrium, right? pH scale, common ion effect, hydrolysis of salt, pH of their solution, solubility. So these all things we are going to cover in the ionic equilibrium part, right? So I hope this is clear to you, right? Clear है सबको? Equilibrium में हम क्या करने वाले हैं? What we are going to do in this chapter equilibrium? Done. Now, similar, if I'm talking about the next chapter, that we have redox reaction and the electrochemistry. So these two chapters are quietly related to each other. That's why I named with एक साथ रखा है इन लोगों को हमने redox reaction, the electrochemistry. So basically, electronic concept of oxidation and reduction that we already studied in the class 11. Oxidation number, rule for assigning oxidation number, balancing of redox reaction, electrolytic and metallic conduction, that is what is the variation of conductance in the electrolytic solution, specific and molar conductivities and their variation with the concentration. So these all things we already study in the redox reaction, right? Similar, if I'm talking about the electrochemistry, so this will be going to study in our class 12 only. So far you weren't aware about this chapter, I guess. So we are going to cover this chapter in our 12th class itself. So in basically in electrochemistry, we divide electrochemistry into the three types. In first part, we are going to study about the electrochemical cell, right? What is this electrochemical cell? How they convert chemical energy into electrical energy, right? In next part, we are going to study the electrolytic cell, that how a chemical reaction can be started with the help of electricity, right? How reaction can be started with the help of electricity, Nernst equation and their application, right? And last, we are going to study about the batteries and the electrolysis as well. So this is all we are going to study in the electrochemistry. Now, the next chapter of the physical chemistry part is that is chemical kinetics, right? That is chemical kinetics. So basically in chemical kinetics, what is the limitation of thermodynamics? Can anyone say what are the limitation of thermodynamics? Anyone out of you? What are the limitation of thermodynamics? No? Yes. Thermodynamics only tell whether the reaction will happen or not, right? Thermodynamics tell only whether the reaction will happen or not, but it does not indicate the rate of reaction. ये reaction 2 मिनट में हो रहा है, 1 मिनट में हो रहा है, 2 साल में हो रहा है, या 5 साल में हो रहा है, या हो ही नहीं रहा, right? So thermodynamics deals only with the spontaneity of the reaction, whether the reaction will occur or not. But it does not give any idea about the rate of reaction, right? So in this chapter, that is chemical kinetics, we are going to study the rate of reaction, right? So in this chapter, we are studying rate of reaction. That is how rate, how rate is calculated, how rate is determined for the particular reaction and all, right? So basically this chapter is very important. So in this chapter we are going to study the rate of chemical reaction, factors affecting the rate of reaction, concentration, temperature, pressure, and catalyst. Basically elementary and the complex reaction, order and molecularity of the reaction, rate law, rate constant and it is unit, differential and integral form of zero and first order reaction, their characteristics and half-life, the effect of temperature on the rate of reaction, Arrhenius theory, that is how this collision activation energy and its calculation. So we all are going to study this chemical kinetics, right? So this will also going to be a very, very important topic. Now, the last chapter of this physical chemistry part is that is a surface chemistry, right? So basically in surface chemistry, what we are going to study, beta? So in surface chemistry, we are going to study the adsorption, right? Absorption. So basically in this chapter, we are going to study two things, adsorption and absorption. So we all aware, small note here, beta. What is the small note here? That is, this is the surface chemistry, right? And this surface chemistry, if I'm talking about this, we have a two phenomena, that is adsorption and this is absorption. We all know that adsorption is the surface phenomenon, right? Where absorption is a bulk phenomenon. Bulk phenomenon. ऐसे सोचो, एक प्लास्टिक लिया, ठीक है, एक प्लास्टिक के ऊपर रेन डालो तो क्या होगा, ऊपर का लेयर ही वेट होगा, नीचे तो सही रहेगा ना, right? If you took the plastic and put some water on it, then only the upper surface will be wetted, right? And the lower surface remain dry as well. But if you took the that is paper and put some water, then entire paper will be wet, right? So if the bulk phenomena will comes into the picture, we'll say it is the absorption. Only surface phenomena come, we'll say adsorption. So in this chapter, we're going to see only the surface phenomena, that is surface chemistry, name suggests. So we are going to study only adsorption, not absorption, right? So we are going to study only adsorption, right? So adsorption, types of adsorption, that is the physiosorption and chemiosorption, and their characteristics, factors affecting the adsorption of gas on solid, Fandless and Langmuir adsorption isotherm, adsorption from solution. We are also going to study about the catalyst, colloidal state. Yeah, this one is also very, very important. That is a colloidal state, right? So this colloidal state is also very important. That is how we achieve this colloidal state, what are the colloid, lyophilic, lyophobic, so all we are going to study, right? The next chapter is that is we're going to be talking about the inorganic chemistry. So in physical chemistry, we have 10 chapters, right? By combining 11 and 12 both, we have a 10 chapters that we have to cover in the physical chemistry part, right? Now, let's see the inorganic chemistry syllabus. So basically in inorganic chemistry syllabus, the first chapter, that is unit 11, that is the classification of element and periodicity in the properties. So this thing we are going to cover in the inorganic chemistry, right? That is the modern periodic law and present form of the periodic table, S, P, D, and F block elements, periodic trends and properties of element, atomic and ionic radii, ionization enthalpy, electron gain enthalpy, valence, oxidation state, and chemical reactivity. Right. That is the general principle and process of isolation of metals that we're also going to study. That is the mode of occurrence of element in nature, minerals, ore. So we all this going to study in this chapter, right? So the chapter is the first is one is that is the classification of element in periodicity. So basically in this we are going to study a very, very important concept like ionization energy, electron gain enthalpy, electronegativity. So this all very important, right? Similarly, in the general principle and process of isolation of metal, because this chapter is deleted from the 12th part, right? CBSE 12th curriculum, this chapter is deleted, right? That is the general principle and process isolation of metal. But for the NEET and IIT point of view, we're going to cover this chapter, right? The mode of occurrence of element in nature, minerals, ore, step involved in the extraction of the metal, concentration, reduction, chemical, electrolytic method, and all, right? Okay. Now, the next thing is that is a hydrogen. So this is also very important chapter of the inorganic chemistry. That is a hydrogen. So in hydrogen, we are, we already, you all already studied this chapter and you know that is how the position of hydrogen in the periodic table is not fixed yet, right? Whether it belong to the 17th group or it belong to the first group, it is a debatable talk, right? So many times they show the behavior with the first group, so we can say that yeah, we can put hydrogen in the first group, but in various ways they can show similarities with the 17th group as well. So we can also say that it belongs to the 17th group as well. So this so similarity with both 17th group and the first group. That is the physical and the chemical properties of water and the heavy water, structural preparation, reaction, and uses of hydrogen peroxide, classification of hydrides, that is the ionic hydrides, covalent hydride, interstitial hydrides, and how hydrogen acts as a fuel. So these all we are going to study in this chapter, hydrogen, right? The next more important and the first periodic property is that is the S block element, right? So basically in a entire 11th and 12th, we are going to cover the entire periodic table. First, in 11th, you covered S block element and two P block group, right? In 12th class, you will cover remaining P block element that is from group 14, that's from group 15 to group 18, and entire DNF block elements, right? So the main chapter that is S block element, that is in S block we have two different blocks, that is alkali metal and alkaline earth metal. So group 1 and group 2 element, basically general introduction of the group trend in the physical and chemical properties of the element, anomalous property of the first element of the each group, right? preparation and peroxide of some important compound like sodium carbonate, sodium chloride, significant biological significance of how potassium and sodium are useful for us through biological significance, right? So these all we are going to study in the S block element. Done? Now, the next is inorganic chemistry, that is a P block element. So in P block element, that is a P block in the periodic table life from group 13 of the periodic table to group 18. So total we have a 6 block of P block elements. So in group 13, we are going to study the way properties, preparation and uses of boron family. Group 14, we have a carbon family. So we are going to study about the carbon, silicon and their compound. Similarly, in group 15, we are going to study nitrogen family, how HNO3 will be produced, how, NO2, how acid rain will be made up of. So we're going to study all these things, right? In group 16. So group 16 is an oxygen family. So basically in this, we are going to study about the H2O, how H2 will form, how H2SO4 will be formed, right? So group 16. Now in group 17, they are also known as a halogen group because they have a strong tendency to gain one electron to become stable because they already show a 7 electron in their valence set. So they just want one electron to become stable. So in this also we are going to study the preparation properties and use of the chlorine and the hydrochloric acid, trend in the acidic nature of the hydrogen halide, structure of the interhalogen compound and oxides and oxoacid of the halogen. Right. Now, inorganic chemistry syllabus. So we also have a, just like a P block, we also have a D block and F block elements. In this also, we are going to study the entire D block, that is the group 3D, 4D, 5D series and F block. So we have a lanthanoid and actinoid series. So we are going to study this thing as well. Now, one important chapter that is unit number 17, that is a coordination compound. So in coordination compound, this one is going to be very, very important. So basically in coordination compound, we are going to study about the Warner's theory, ligands, coordination number, denticity, Chilson effect, IUPAC nomenclature, right? Bonding valence bond approach, ideas of crystal field theory, color magnetic properties, importance of coordination compound, okay, in qualitative. So this one is going to be very important. Every time you'll get one question from this chapter, even more than one. Many times there will be two questions from this chapter, either one from IUPAC or isomerism and one from the theories, either VVT or CFT. So you'll definitely get one question from this chapter. And this chapter is very, very important because the entire chapter is going to study only about the dative bond, right? So this coordination compound is very important. Now, the next inorganic chemistry syllabus is the environmental chemistry. So this is the last one in the inorganic chemistry. So 10 chapter we have in physical, 8 chapter we have in the inorganic chemistry. That is the environmental chemistry. So basically in environmental chemistry, we are going to study the atmospheric pollution, environment pollution, that is the gaseous pollution, particulate pollution, stratospheric water and soil pollution. So we are going to cover this pollution part. Now, and organic. So this is the organic chemistry syllabus. So I quickly summarize this organic chemistry syllabus because we have a less time remaining. And I also want to discuss with you the marking scheme of this syllabus. So be connected with me. We are in within 1 or 2 minutes, we are going to finish this off, right? And summarize about the total marks and what marks you will get per questions and all, right? So the purification, the characteristics of organic compounds. In this already we study about the purification and qualitative analysis. In the next chapter, some basics principle of organic chemistry. In this we are study about the isomerism part and the types of defect. That is the electromeric defect, inductive defect, mesomeric defect. So this GOC is very important because through this only you understand the mechanism of organic chemistry. So if you want to, keep your organic chemistry good or strong organic chemistry, you must command all these things. That is what is inductive effect, what is isomerism, what is electromeric defect, and what is a mesomeric defect and all. Right? Now, in hydrocarbon, this is in 11th class itself. So you already studied about the alkanes, alkynes, and aromatic compounds, right? Alkane, alkene, alkynes, and the aromatic compounds. We already covered in this 11th class. Now, the next is organic compound containing halogens. This will be going to cover in your 12th class. That is alkyl halide and aryl halide. Since we are going to study all these things, what happens when the organic compound containing one halogen group, either it will be fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, So what happened to their, nature, mechanism behind it? Now, gel containing oxygen. So in this, we are going to study alcohol, phenol, and ether. So three major chapters we are going to study under this. That is organic compound containing oxygen. That is alcohol, phenol, and ether. Okay. Now, the next is organic compound containing nitrogen. So in this, we are going to study about the amine. That is what happened when the organic compound containing nitrogen will takes place. So amine and diazonium salt. Next is the polymer. So in polymer, we are going to study all thing about the polymerization, plastic, what we made from the plastic, what is the formula for making, glasses and all. So we are going to study all this thing, right? Next is biomolecules. So this one is also very, very important topic, biomolecules, unit 26. So this is a general introduction, importance of the biomolecules. In this, we're going to cover carbohydrates, protein, vitamins, all we are going to cover in this biomolecules chapter. I hope this is clear to you, right? Good. Similar, in next step, we are going to cover the chemistry in everyday life. So in this, it is totally a drug-based question chapter. So in this, we're going to discuss about the various type of drug we have, right? What type of drug is useful in the various disease, right? So we are going to use the read the about this following drug. And next one is the principle related to the practical chemistry, right? So in this, we are going to study the detection like a salt analysis. And we're going to identify the some cationic salted, some anionic salted, how to identify cationic and the anionic salted, right? So this is all about the syllabus classification of organic, inorganic, and the physical chemistry. I already told you about the what is J examination, what is NEET examination, right? And what is the need of this, why we are here, what we are going to teach you, how our teaching is different from what you already taking classes for the CBSE part as well, right? So how this addition will improve your practice or make you more, more reliable on this thing, also that you can practice more and more question. So using all these two things, or already you're taking classes, and again when you practice this thing, then it will become very easy for you, right? Now, this is the JEE main exam pattern. So this is the exam pattern for you all have. So I know you all are aware from this. That is total number of questions and the number of questions to be attempted. So in physics, chemistry, maths, total we have a 20 questions. So total we have a 90 questions in section A, right? So if I'm talking about the section A part, so total we have a 90 questions, which include 20 questions of physics, 20 questions of chemistry, and 20 questions of math. So we have a total 60 questions in section A, right? Now, so out of this 20, you have to attempt 20 questions. So no option is there. So you have to attempt all these questions. Now, in section B, we have a 10 questions from each subject of physics, chemistry, and math. Out of this 10 questions, you need to attempt only 5 questions. So that is 15 questions, right? So total number of questions, what you have, that is a 20 plus 10, 30, 30, 30. So total we have a 90 questions, and out of 90 questions, you have to attempt only 75 questions only. Right. Section A is compulsory part. You have to attempt all questions, but in section B, you have to attempt only 5 questions. So total marks for this entire test is, if I'm talking about the physics, it consists of 100 marks, chemistry and math also 100. So total marks is 300, right? So 300 marks paper will be for JEE main exam, and similar 720 marks paper for the NEET exam, right? So in this, instead of math, that is a bio. So bio will come. So this is all about the marking pattern. Anyone having any kind of doubt in marking pattern? Anyone? कुछ पूछना है क्या किसी को? कुछ भी पूछना है पूछ सकते हो. कोई डाउट है किसी का? Any doubts related to this JEE main exam pattern or syllabus or why we study this, all this thing? No? So thank you again, all of you, and let's meet in the next class where we're going to start our chapter, right? So in today's class, we get all the information, all that what we are going to do, what are the syllabus. So we are discussing all these things. So from the next class, we are going to start our syllabus, right? So till just look on the syllabus, just look into the syllabus, that what syllabus we have, and we are going to start the solution colligative properties. So just revise the 11th concept. Just revise the 11th some basic concept of chemistry in concentration term, so that you can aware about the molality and all. So thank you all again. Let's meet on the next class. Till take care and just focus on this study, right?